I've lived in this building for 2 years. I know every floor, every hallway, every sound the elevator makes when it's about to open. So I need you to understand that when I tell you I found a floor that doesn't exist, I'm not confused. I'm not misremembering. I measured. I checked the blueprints. I talked to the super. There is a door in the stairwell between the 4th and 5th floor. It is not on any record, and 3 nights ago I opened it. It started because of a sound. I was coming home late, maybe 1 a.m., and I took the stairs because the elevator was doing that thing again, where it stops on the wrong floor. I was between 4 and 5 when I heard it. Not footsteps, not voices, just a low hum, almost mechanical, but not quite, like something was breathing with a motor. I stopped, looked around, and that's when I saw the door. I don't know how I'd never noticed it before. It sits in a slight recession in the wall, maybe 6 inches back from the surface. Dark gray metal. No number, no sign, just a handle, the old lever kind, and a thin line of darkness screened me underneath it. I stood there for a long time, just looking at it. The next morning I tried to make sense of it geometrically. The 4th floor ceiling is about 9 feet. Standard. The 5th floor ceiling is the same, which means the gap between the top of one floor and the bottom of the next, accounting for materials, should be maybe 18 inches, 2 feet at most. But I measured the stairwell. Between the 4th floor landing and the 5th floor landing, there are 21 steps. Each step is roughly 7 inches. That's 12 feet, 3 inches of vertical space, 3 feet of unaccounted space, minimum. I pulled the building's blueprints from the city records website. 4 floors, basement, roof access, no mezzanine, no utility level, no crawl space at that height. The door is not supposed to be there. I went back that night. I told myself I was just going to look at it again, maybe take a photo, maybe try the handle just to confirm it was locked. I brought my phone, flashlight on. The stairwell felt different at night, longer somehow. The lights on the 4th floor landing were working fine, but the bulb between floors, the one closest to the door, was out, which meant the only light near it was whatever my phone could reach. I got close enough to touch the frame. The hum was still there, quieter than before, or maybe I was just more used to it. And there was something else now. Temperature. The door was cold, not cool. Cold the way a window is cold in January. From the inside, it opened without resistance. No creak, no resistance, nothing. Like it had been opened recently, like it was expecting this. The space inside was not a utility room. It was a hallway, low-ceilinged, maybe 6.5 feet, running perpendicular to the stairwell. The walls were the same cinder block as the rest of the building, but painted a color that doesn't exist in the rest of the building. A yellowish off-white, stained in places, peeling in others. There were 2 doors off the hallway, closed, and at the far end, a single bare bulb hanging from a wire, giving just enough light to see by. I stood in the doorway and did not go in. Not yet. From the doorway I could see into the first room on the left. The door was slightly ajar. There was a table, small, wooden, 2 chairs, and on the table a plate. I couldn't see what was on it from where I stood, but I could see steam. Faint, barely there, but real. Someone had just eaten here, or was about to. I pushed the door open wider with my foot without stepping inside. The room was small, a cot along one wall, neatly made, a shelf with a few things on it. I couldn't make out what. A coat hook near the door with a jacket hanging from it, a jacket that was still moving slightly, like someone had just taken it off and hung it there. I backed out into the stairwell and let the door close. The next morning I went to the super. His name is Gerald. Been in this building 22 years. I told him I found a door in the stairwell between 4 and 5. I described it. The handle, the recess in the wall, the cold metal. He didn't say anything for a long moment. Then he said, "You didn't go in, did you?" Not "What door?" Not "That's impossible." Not "You must be mistaken." Just, "You didn't go in, did you?" I told him I looked in. Didn't go past the door frame. He nodded slowly and said I should keep it that way. That there are parts of old buildings that don't get used anymore, and that it was probably just a storage space from an old renovation. Then he changed the subject and hasn't spoken to me since. I went back last night. I don't know why. I think I needed to confirm it was still there. Part of me hoped it wouldn't be. The door was slightly open this time. Just an inch. Just enough to see that thin line of yellowish light from the bulb at the end of the hallway. And just enough to hear something I hadn't heard before. From behind the second door, the one that had been closed both times before, there was a sound. Soft. Slow. Completely unmistakable. Breathing. Not mechanical. Not the building. Someone in that room, in that space that doesn't exist, was asleep. I took one photo through the gap. I'm not going to post it. Not yet. I need to figure out what to do first. I'm writing this from my apartment. Door locked. I checked the stairwell from the 4th floor landing before I came in, and the door is closed again. But I've been thinking about what Gerald said. The exact words. "You didn't go in, did you?" Not a clarifying question. Not curiosity. It sounded more like relief. Like the important thing wasn't whether the room existed. The important thing was whether I had crossed that threshold. I don't know what's on the other side of that second door. I don't know who was sleeping there. I don't know if they knew I was standing in the hallway. But I think they did. I think they've known about me for longer than I've known about them.